here is the actual founder of the Trans Day of Visibility.
Oh, no.
Is there anyone who isn't accepted at
That was Mitch McConnell for a second.
extended family gatherings?
Poor guy. That's a therapist?
Yeah, psychotherapist.
Oh, man.
Psycho for short. There was outrage porn over the weekend.
I know.
But here's the thing. They got a point. They really have a point. Now, there are a couple of misconceptions here. I want to clarify this so that when you argue it, you can be clear in your position. Of course, you know it was Easter. And as you well know, the White House instead celebrated both Trans Awareness Day. We're going to give you some numbers here comparing the trans LGBTQ, how many days they celebrate versus, people who died for their country. You can comment below. Pause it. Don't cheat. Guess the comparison. There was a lot of misreporting, though, here. And a lot of it was done for clicks, right, for clout. Yeah. So what we do know is that this administration is rabidly anti-Christian. And, of course, the multiple steps that they have taken at this point prove that. And there would have been a better way to handle what had taken place this weekend. I mean, there would be a better way to handle it. Just don't have any Trans Awareness Day at all because it's silly. Or, maybe move it from the day that Christ defeated the grave. Just my opinion, Mr. Old-Fashioned.
I'm sorry, it's not Trans Awareness Day. That's a totally different day. It's Trans Day of Visibility.
Oh. Someone please admonish me.
There are a lot of them.
They want to be seen.
Admonish me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to keep up because, like I said, there are tons of them.
The funny thing is, we can see them.
Yeah, we see it.
It's not
We
like
can
a
see all
sixth
of it.
sense where you're a ghost.
Yeah.
We see you.
We could, do a better
Clearly.
job of tucking. Like, we could see.
Very, very obvious. It's almost uncomfortable.
You don't blend into anything.
No. I mean, unless it's like camouflaging with crazy. So, Friday, okay, March 29th. Let's go through the timeline here. Joe Biden, the White House, when we say former Vice President Biden, we mean someone who worked at the White House, issued a proclamation, the Transclaration Declaration, whatever the hell it is, commemorating Trans Day of Visibility, of course, on Easter Sunday. This is what was sent out. On Transgender Day of Visibility, here's the funny thing, before I go on.
You didn't get far.
This is the funny thing.
They put this out there as though the first response from people with the very first phrase won't be, wait, you don't mean Easter, do you? Like, no one there. Again, I've told you a big part of this, how the left has gone so far, is there's no one around them to just say, whoa, what? You're going to lead with that? You're not going to, acknowledge what the entire Christian world celebrates as the resurrection of Christ? I get it, Greek Orthodox. I know you do it later, but the point remains. You're just going to lead with, everyone's on board with a day that they've never heard of until this transcript went out? Let's meet them halfway. No, this is how they started. On Transgender Day of Visibility, we honor the extraordinary courage and contributions of transgender Americans to reaffirm our nation's commitment to forming a more perfect union. Okay, first off, secondly, I don't really know about the extraordinary courage or contributions from transgender Americans to reaffirm the nation's commitment to forming a more perfect union. Yeah. I haven't heard them include that in their pamphlets. As a general rule, it seems to be primarily about taking the drugs and having sex with whoever they want. I haven't heard them really talk about creating and forming a more perfect union. I don't even know that I've heard them discuss the Declaration of Independence or Constitution. It's never come up in any of the transgender conversations that I've had.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's the furthest thing from their mind, and instead they want to show us their tits. I'll continue.
But they do dominate women's sports.
That is true.
That is the only contribution is that they have dominated women more fully and hurt women more.
So you know what? Baby steps.
Yeah.
Their accomplishments are building.
Yes, they're building. Where all people are created equal and treated equally throughout their lives. Now, therefore, I, former Vice President Joseph R. Biden Jr., former Vice President of the United States of America, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Constitution and the laws of the United States. Before I finish, you think that's the authority vested in you by the Constitution of the United States? To create a day on Easter to recognize chicks with dicks? You think that's what the founding fathers were thinking when they dumped tea into the harbor?
That's why he crossed the Delaware, George Washington.
Yes.
He said, boys, I know it's cold.
On Christmas.
And your dicks are going to freeze off. But
Yes.
In 250 years, that's going to be normal.
There is a lady boy over there.
Yeah, exactly. On Christmas, I believe it happened on Christmas Day, if I'm not mistaken, right? When he crossed, and he crossed over because he wanted to replace the day. He said, "There's not a tranny on this, damn it! What are you doing?
What are we fighting for?
Can't you see, damn it? The fight's out there, man!" Just points like 4 members of Westboro Baptist Church. It's out there.
It's a different definition of a turncoat, but yeah.
This is the virtue of authority. I love this is when they reference the Constitution. They acknowledge it's unconstitutional. Former Vice President Biden, as it relates to student loan forgiveness, right?
Yes.
As it relates to rent forgiveness. The Supreme Court will probably strike it down as unconstitutional, but I'm going to do it anyway. But now I'm going to invoke the Constitution in making sure that officially on Easter Day, chicks with dicks get and men with snatches. I don't know why that falls under constitutional authority.
Are those called matches?
I do hereby proclaim March 31st, 2024 as Transgender Day of Visibility. Now, to be fair, it has been held on March 31st since 2010. So
And they send out those proclamations every single time.
Do they proclaim it every time?
Yes.
It's a weird thing to proclaim.
It is.
No other holiday has been proclaimed.
Well, hold on. You know what? I don't think President Trump proclaimed it, but we can find that out. Yeah.
I don't believe
He
that
might not even known it was a thing.
Yeah,
He probably skipped it.
he probably skipped it.
I would
It
imagine.
might have been working.
That's how you do it.
And just in case you were wondering, we're going to also compare some numbers here, which will surprise you because they surprise me. But to set this up, let's look to the founder of the feast. I know you're wondering. Here is the actual founder of the Trans Day of Visibility.
Oh no.
Is there anyone who isn't accepted at
Thought it was Mitch McConnell for a second.
extended family gatherings?
Poor guy.
Do I feel bad for the person? Sure.
Absolutely.
Does this person need to be torn down because of what they're doing to the country? Yeah. Let me give you something here. That's clearly someone who is unhealthy. This person, by the way, is a psychotherapist. Rachel Randall Crocker is the person's name.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
That's a therapist?
yeah, psychotherapist.
Oh man.
Psycho for short. Now,
That person holds a medical degree of some sort?
think about this for a second. You cannot be against the pill farms where they just toss antidepressants, where they just toss psychoactive drugs to you without changing anything else. And you see this a lot. The first thing that a doctor will do if you walk in is, hey, what is your diet and exercise like? If this person walked into a doctor's office and said, I'm feeling mentally unstable, I'm feeling depressed, the first thing a good doctor would say is, well, you know what, your BMI is off the charts. What do you do physically? We all know this now when we know what physical exercise and proper diet, proper nutrition, sleep. I'm not talking about being a cover model or for a bodybuilding magazine. I'm talking about basic movement and nutrition. These are the building blocks, not only to physical health, but to mental health. A good doctor would say, hey, hold on a second. In any other scenario, well, you're very overweight, you clearly don't walk, you don't get any cardiovascular exercise, your cholesterol is off the charts, your bone density is weak, you're not doing anything that would actually improve your mental state. No wonder you feel lethargic and you feel depressed. It's because you don't do any of the basics that we would instruct you to do before we start giving you pills. If it's a transgender who wants pills, it's, oh, okay, great, yeah, you're depressed. We have no idea why you might be acting abnormally. And I mean abnormally, I do mean abnormally. This is not the norm. This is a very small percentage of the population. We have no idea. Here's some pills. Here's some estrogen. In any other scenario, they would never give a man those hormones. Why? Cancer. That's why. That's why. Let's just not act as though there isn't a double standard exclusively to accommodate mental illness. If you are depressed, and this comes from someone who has struggled. I've talked about this very openly. Less so these days because, of course, people use it against you. I get that this, you know when I feel more depressed? If I have an injury, I can't move, I can't go out, I can't walk, I feel like I'm going nuts. Everyone, it's not a cure, everyone who currently is struggling with depression, anxiety, list whatever mental affliction, struggle here, not saying it's a cure, it will be, I guarantee you, improved by physical exercise, nutrition, and sleep. It just comes down to what degree. Yeah. That should be the first line of defense. We don't even offer it. Why? Because if you were to advise that to this look-alike of Emo Phillips, if put on a tumble-dry cycle, you would be considered transphobic.
A little inflated, too.
Or you're fat shaming. Right? That's where it started. The movement started with, hey, I'm fat and I go into my doctor's office. And the first thing that they do is look at me and say, well, hey, diet, exercise. And I'm like, no, I've tried all that. No, it's like, well, hold on. You haven't tried hard enough. Or maybe there's a medical thyroid condition that we can give you pills for that allow you to try harder and get this thing done. but you can't even be a doctor anymore. You've taken that out of the arsenal. And you and I both know, as people who've exercised, you've exercised pretty much consistently for a very long time now. I'm kind of on again, off again. On again right now. I feel better.
Good for you.
It's fantastic.
Good.
Yep.
Right? You do feel better. And at the very least, even if you're not completely dropping pounds like you want to, you feel like you're making progress. Like
Yes.
you're not just stuck in neutral, and then you kind of have this shame cycle and this guilt cycle where you're like, I should do something, but I can't. And then another day of me not doing what I know I should do.
You know why you exercise? This week, Easter, it was me and Pops Crowder. We were the only two men in the bouncy hop that existed.
Yeah.
We got stuck, and people
did
got
get
mad at
stuck,
me because it's
yeah.
that maze part, and I got stuck. But they wanted me to go. You know, they're younger. There were bigger kids jumping around. I'm like, okay, let me get in there. All the other dads who are in their 30s, 40s, they don't want it. Too much. My 68-year-old father, Pops Crowder, was in there sliding down just like he just kind of tucked his shoulder like a cannonball. I was like, all right, I'm coming down.
Bam!
He's able to because he stayed on it his whole life. Guess what? That makes you healthier. That makes him happier. Makes him a lot happier than people who were in their 60s, maybe 20, 30 years ago, who were barely getting by. When we know what it does to your brain, we know specifically what it does to your neurotransmitters, to your hormones. We just throw it all out the window in the name of tolerance. And by the way, there are plenty of examples. When we're talking about the White House, transgender individuals at the White House. Here you go. Here's a collage. These are people who, I believe that we have it right there, a collage of, yeah, look at that.
Nazi fag.
These are people who've been at the White House or worked for the good news is we can all blind ourselves with the upcoming solar eclipse.
I think one of those committed a crime.
Yes.
Stole luggage.
And by the way,
Multiple
you
times.
know that the luggage stealer,
It looked like it.
well, yes.
Definitely looked
And you
like
know there were
it,
other
dude.
crimes before this that they let slide. Why? In the
Yeah.
name of tolerance. Look, you can't just keep stealing ashtrays when you go to the...
True.
Well, I get that it's like a compulsion, but you can't. I'm going to let this one slide because you're transgender, and of course we allow you all to behave horribly.
Because we're afraid of being canceled for being bigots.
Yes. That's exactly what it is. There was one notable opponent to former Vice President Biden's declaration, and it was trans icon Caitlyn Jenner, who tweeted out,
Surprising, right?
I'm absolutely disgusted that Joe Biden has declared the most holy of days, most holy of holy days, a self-proclaimed devout Catholic as Transgender Day of Visibility. The only thing you should be declaring on this day is, He is risen. Put your hands up.
Tick-tock.
Tick
Like a Buffalo Bill type situation.
Hey,
on the cross.
Caitlyn Bruce is right.
Yeah. And then killed someone with a hit and run.
Well, that was Bruce. Come on.
No.
Chill out.
That's
That was
the only
Bruce.
reason. It's the only reason Caitlin's a woman.
Caitlyn,
Never heard
good
of
in
her.
my book.
Never.
She's
heard
a
that
woman of the
guy.
year. Remember?
Yes, yes.
So
Yeah.
you should listen to what she
First
has to
woman to beat men for gold medals. Hit the like button if you think that Caitlyn Jenner could physically beat the crap out of former Vice President Biden.
say. Oh, I would love to see that fight.
I would too.
They got to bring back Celebrity Deathmatch.
Yes, exactly.
Remember that show?
Absolutely.
Get some
Claymation.
fighting Irish. Put your hands up.
God, that show would do so well right now.
Fill your hands, you son of a bitch.
Hello, boys.
And the best thing to do, by the way, is also download the Rumble app if you want to
Yes.
get notifications because we don't know when we'll be back on YouTube. Let me hit you with a few key facts here as it relates to this story. I know I've just been meandering. I apologize. It's the Easter
It's
hangover.
fine.
Everyone has an Easter hangover. That's how you celebrate the Lord.
Get drunk.
No, I didn't drink, but I
Oh.
think it's like all the crap. You find like when you have an Easter ham, it's just the salt. Just you cannot stop drinking water for the. You can't drink
I
enough
think
water.
Just ham in general. I don't think it's so much Easter, but nonetheless, yes,
Yeah.
you're 100% right.
All right.
Need to be a little less salty, guys.
Yes, we do.
It's funny that we eat ham on Easter
I know.
because it's like a real slap in the face to some
Well,
other
I
people.
don't think so. I think they've
Some
got
of us do
bigger-
lobster.
To the people who killed him, it's a real slap in the face.
They got bigger fish to fry. They think we're worshiping a false messiah, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they're worried about the ham.
It's a disagreement. The best part about Judaism is even if we're wrong, nothing happens. I don't believe in hell.
No
It's
hell,
like,
not
it's like I didn't shave the right way. I didn't. Well, not the
They
same.
got it
version of
right,
hell
man.
that we believe.
They know what they're doing over
Yeah,
there.
it's like-
Abraham's bosom. It's
I
a better
didn't
place.
I didn't shave the right way. I used electricity on Saturday.
Oh.
I blended fabrics. And it's like, so the worst case scenario is very little happens to me. Now,
I feel shame.
yeah, I feel shame. So here's a key fact for you. First one. Obviously, the trans community is plenty visible. There's no visibility problem.
We see you.
Yes, we see you. We all can tell. In addition to the Trans Day of Visibility, there are more than 60 days throughout our year dedicated now to the LGBTQ plus movement.
Serious, Clark?
Let me give you some examples. May 17th is International Day Against Transphobia. November is Trans Awareness Month. The entire month, which also includes November 3rd, Transparent Day, November 8th, Intersex Day of Solidarity, November 13th through 19th, Trans Awareness Week, November 20th, Trans Day of Remembrance, which became Trans Day of Vengeance. And all of this is in addition, by the way, to June, which is the Pride Month. In March, you have Bisexual Awareness Month. October is LGBT History Month. And August 11th is actually Gay Uncle Day, also known as Pedophile Day. So there are over...
Also noticed the day I lost my virginity.
Yes. Over 60 days on our calendar for LGBTQ plus whatever, including gay uncles.
Gay Uncle Day is a real day.
People who died for their country get a total of 2.
What?
So even if we're going to use the argument through the power vested in you, Joseph Robinette Biden, from the Constitution. Okay, hold on a second. The contributions from the trans community, 60 days versus 2? Do you really think that the guy stealing luggage at Terminal D gave more than those who stormed the beaches of Normandy?
I mean, his head was the size of 2 of those soldiers. So.
That's true. It'd be an easy target.
That's insane, man. Wow. What are their contributions? What have they contributed?
Well, they've contributed to the bottom line of Samsonite.
Absolutely, but you had a month. You had the month of November. If you wanted 4 additional breaks, one of them's a week, you wanted 4 additional breaks, don't put them in the month that you already have. You're crazy already. We know that, but now you're stupid on top of it because you said, hey, we have the month of November. We're going to put 4 additional holidays within the month of November. It's like, no. Put them on the outside and make them have more holidays. That would have been the smart thing to do. You guys are idiots.
Retard alert!
Well, they did both. To be fair, they did both.
You're going to screw us over. Do a good job of it, all right?
They did both. They did both.
Sorry if I hurt you.
They have a month, they have a week within the month, and then they also have Gay Uncle Day.
Which, by the way,
This is why Islam is taking over England, you dipshits. Because people there are saying, hey, we have Gay Uncle Day. We can deal with the beheading and the blowing shit up because there was a picture on a magazine. Can you just help us with Gay Uncle Day? Which, by the way, unless you're a teenager, should never come up unless he's touching you.
Yeah, or if you're in his van.
Yes. Gay Uncle Day.
no.
What? You're going to leave me with my gay uncle this weekend?
I mean, I guess I'll be doing club drugs.
6 is a good time to start.
It's a good time to start poppers. So, and here's the thing, too. When people talk about visibility, all right, you have all of the days, 60 days in the month, and LGBT, whatever, way overrepresented in media. They make up less than 5%. The highest you'll find is 5.5% of the population, right? They identify as LGBTQ+, but includes people who are, they kissed a girl in college because they want to appear cool. The truth is the gay percentage of the population, it's consistently been around 2%. Right now, it's a byproduct of nurture less than nature. But let's round it off and say 5%. Okay, 5% of the population. In 2022, 28.5% of movies had at least one LGBTQ character. In 2022 to 2023, just for example, on the CW, 15% of all characters are gay, targeting teens. If you look at what you watch across Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, there's a disproportionate representation of LGBTQ plus everywhere. Okay? They are plenty visible. Never has such a marginalized community gotten such carte blanche. You're not seeing anyone else taking over Ramadan. Like, no, that's lesbian aunt month.
Why don't they get a day? What the heck? What if Bonnie and Sharon, why don't they get a day,
They don't.
And here, this brings us to another key factor, and this is something that Dawkins was talking about. It's very clear that this administration is attacking Christianity now, proactively. Right? This is also something, I think we have this. This is a flyer from the National Guard. They circulated it. They said that this year, the Easter egg, the rolls that they do, they roll the eggs, that it could not depict, quote, any questionable content, religious symbols, overtly religious themes, or partisan political statements. Now, here's the truth. This is half true. The rule does exist. The American Egg Board said that it's a 45-year-old rule. However, it seems as though it was far more strictly enforced this go-around. So Easter, it's Trans Visibility Day. Let's not put a cross on your Easter egg.
It's just, don't celebrate the day then. It is a religious holiday. It is not any other thing than Christ is risen day. So if you don't believe that Christ is risen, then it's just another Sunday.
Yes.
Or
What
it's
are
a
you
fun,
doing?
or it's a fun holiday. You get to
No, I
have
mean,
some
it's the
Easter
government.
eggs, do a hunt
Yeah.
or whatever. You know.
No, I mean for the government to be like, yeah, we're gonna celebrate this day and we're gonna do all this stuff, but yeah, you can't say anything religious. Be like, well, hold on,
About this.
it's
this
the
holiday?
He is risen day. Well, yeah, but no, we like the bunny and the eggs. We just don't like the thing about Christ rising from the dead. Oh,
The left
Well, then how about this? During Gay Pride Month, we don't get to put a pride flag on the White House.
there you go. See,
You know, how about 1 for 1? No crosses on Easter, no
Okay.
flags during Pride.
done.
How about during Pride Month, we just project onto the White House the sex offender watch list?
Yeah. And then we count how many are on the same list.
Yes, exactly.
No. We invite them all to the White House.
Yes, invite them all to the White House so it just
Then-
eats up like a predator lens
The do laser thing
or whatever his thing is. I forget, whatever the predator Z, non-gender, I'm sure.
directed in.
But by the way, even at the White House, they also made the Easter Bunny trans. So that's something they're
They
doing.
really? Oh,
Yep.
come on.
And
Wow.
you can imagine who was in the costume. That's the prestige.
No,
Hey.
no,
he's
he's
back.
more of a smeller, not a
I thought he was at Chuck E. Cheese that weekend.
Yeah, he was also.
Oh,
This is,
moonlighting.
He's a Christmas Santa as well.
yes, he is.
Gets around.
Yep, he is.
Sit on my lap, kids.
And a tooth fairy.
Oh, see.
Yeah. No tools
Well,
needed.
someone's got to replace Hunter's teeth.
Yes.
That'd make you go broke.
So this is,
got you.
this is an administration. We have Trans Visibility Day. I get it. We don't need to lie about what's actually taking place, okay, to be clear. The truth is enough, and nothing frustrates me more than seeing people taking a true story and then warping it to try and get more clicks, because it's hard to compete with lies with the truth. You'll see this a lot, for example, on Instagram and TikTok, where someone will stage a video that's supposed to be hidden camera or a prank, and then you'll see people who are professional watch and reactors reacting to a fake video as though it's real. That's an issue. There are a lot of kernels of truth to this story, and the overarching theme that is true is that this administration, the entire DNC, is rabidly anti-Christian, and they are trying to replace Judeo-Christian principles with the religion of secularism. Just to be clear, and it is absolutely a religion. You cannot say anymore, when you have an entire political wing who says there is no such thing as male and female, that biology ceases to exist. You cannot have that and say, well, that's not dogmatic, that's not religious, because it flies in the face of everything that we have known scientifically, and it was abandoned in record time. This is the same administration, by the way, who denies science as it relates to abortion. This is not a political party who says safe, legal, and rare, as they once did. This is a political party where not one person, when asked at national debates, would put any limitation on abortion. You can say that's a gotcha if you wanted to, if it weren't for the fact that many states already were performing abortions, over 10,000 a year, that are taking place late term in the third trimester, including in places like Virginia, where they were allowing babies who survived abortions to die, which also happened in Illinois. It's a relevant question. Not one member of the DNC would answer, yeah, that's a bridge too far. That's how you know that it is a religion. They no longer say, hey, scientifically, this is not a life. They know that it is. They don't care anyway. That's why Kamala Harris was the first vice president to visit an abortion mill.
Liar, whore, and you know it.
That's why as much as they want to go out and virtue signal about Trans Visibility Day on Easter, they were completely silent after there were attacks on pro-life centers after Roe v. Wade was overturned. Keep this in, and also, you want to talk about religion? You want to talk about this being dogmatic? Remember, the DOJ under Garland and the FBI labeled completely nonviolent parents a threat for being vocal. At school board meetings, you had a dad who was escorted in Loudoun County for being violent with the support, the full-throated support of this federal government, because there was a boy in the girls' room who had allegedly sexually assaulted the man's daughter. This is the same administration, by the way, silent on actual violent attacks at pro-life centers while labeling conservative Christians across this country concerned for your children violent extremists. And more proof, again, all references are available at loudearthcrowder.com. How often do you hear this administration talk about atrocities that are being committed internationally, but usually it's against LGBTQ something?
They have to include the identity.
They have to include it.
No matter what happens, the identity is included, unless the perpetrator has an identity that
Exactly.
they support.
Or the victim has an identity they don't like. Like,
Exactly.
I don't know, 8,000 Nigerian Christians slaughtered, including 140 on Christmas. Comment below. Have you even heard of the issue going on in Nigeria? We can do a segment on that.
I had no idea.
Yeah, a lot of people have no idea. By the way, every year, over 360 million Christians worldwide subject to incredible discrimination, persecution. I mean physical abuse. I mean torture across the globe. Not a word?
There's an article I saw of CNN. A bus a bus like was crashed or whatever, and it said, instead of saying Christian bus, whatever, it said Easter celebrators.
Easter celebrators, yes.
Easter celebrator, bus full of Easter celebrators crashed, and it was like, really? You just can't say Christians.
They were probably on the way to their Trans Day visibility party.
They were.
Yeah. Their shriveled Easter egg hunt. Now, we have no comment on what's going on in Nigeria. We have no real comment as far as how it relates to Christian persecution across the world. But we do have this administration pushing for a ceasefire in Gaza. Why? Because Ramadan is a sacred month.
Oh.
It's a sacred month, so we demand a ceasefire. Now, wherever you line up on the Israel-Hamas issue, you cannot simply do this at the end of a gun. You can't start a war like Hamas and then demand a ceasefire.
Oh, boys! I'm back!
Hey, okay, come on, guys. Let's have a ceasefire, guys, okay? Come on, ceasefire.
Okay.
Here's something else that's a key detail.
It's a perfect metaphor.
Here's fast fact number 3. The Biden administration did not broadcast its pro-LGBTQ message to a very specific venue. So they broadcast it largely to white suburban women. Where would you guess they didn't broadcast it?
Somewhere with non-English speaking minorities.
Yeah, there you go. They do have a Spanish Twitter, X.
I didn't realize that.
Called La Casa Blanca, which I appreciate because how would they know? Hey, this pandering is going to backfire, bitch. Okay, we're going to be bilingual in this. All right, great. Let's get ready to post our Trans Day of Visibility. Wait a second.
No.
They just posted a Happy Easter message to their Hispanic audience.
Fine.
Why? Because Latinos in this country, Hispanic are overwhelmingly Christian, 77%, as a matter of fact. The vast majority believe that there are only 2 genders.
Oh, they're sane.
Just to be clear. And this is why, and of course they oppose biological men and women's sports, and this is why right now, President Donald Trump, some people call him former president, some people call him sitting president. I call him sitting president, okay?
Yeah.
He's winning. He's actually winning with Hispanics, not he's losing by a smaller margin. He's winning, according to New York Times Siena. I believe this is the most recent poll.
It's a new one.
46-40.
Nice.
46-40 compared to back in 2020, it was losing 29-62. So it's not about what they believe
That's where
is
the significance is right
Wow,
there.
Hillary Clinton's was even worse. 66-28. She beat him 66-28 the first time around. He's just been closing that gap.
They won't even stand by their convictions. It's like if you're actually trying to create this new society, all right, take the risk and try and push it with the Hispanic voters. Oh, that's right. You can't. You can't.
Won't work.
No. Well, I mean, it's like you said, they're targeting a specific market with something like this. I didn't like the outrage that people, because they made it seem like this was a brand new thing. It made it seem like the administration saw that Sunday was going to be Easter on March 31st and said, aha, Trans Day of Awareness, Visibility, whichever one. There's 60-something of them. I get confused. And did that. That's not what happened. You can just go after the argument of saying, hey, guys, whenever we put this Trans Day of Visibility together in, 2010, and we put it at the end of March, didn't you look at some point in the future and go, hey, I'm a Christian. Easter moves around.
Right.
Can we make sure that this never falls on Easter? Pick March 1st. I don't want the day, but if you're going to pick it so far from Easter that it's impossible for them to collide. And when they do, make sure that you're not celebrating these two things together, because the White House never appears to be Christian. They always appear to be anything other than Christian in my eyes.
Of course.
And it has for a long time until, obviously, when Donald Trump was in the White House. Right? The man actually has faith. Now, maybe he's an imperfect and flawed man. Got it. But he at least has faith.
Yeah.
A little bit of devil's advocate here. I mean, what's stopping them from going, hey, happy Easter, everybody, celebrate, he's risen, whatever you want to say. And then also on this day, we want to recognize Trans Day of Visibility. Like, why can't you just attack it? I mean, I don't like it either, but why can't
Yeah, they kind
Why doesn't it
of
have to be
put
either
out a
or?
Happy Easter message. It was very on their Instagram, and it was very nondescript.
Happy Easter.
Just change the day, or make. And by the way, how much you want to bet that there's going to be outrage from the deaf community, the seeing impaired over this at some point in time.
Well, the deaf,
Strangers
they
are
didn't
like,
hear
"Oh,
about
thank
it.
God."
So
Sorry, the blind community.
blind.
well, they
Blind
didn't see
community.
it.
That's what I was saying. The seeing impaired. Like, well, I want to know what's going on, but I can't.
I would love just one day of visibility. They said.
Yes, exactly. It's just like one day of vision.
I don't see anybody.
So there was a lot of misreporting, obviously, this Easter weekend. But this is where it kind of it comes full circle. Back to what Dawkins was talking about earlier, where he said, I would certainly pick Christianity over Islam. Okay, well, you do have a pick here in the left. So let's set aside the misreporting, that this has been going on for a while, for a little bit. You do have a choice. Just like in Europe right now, they have a problem in certain areas, Christianity or Islam. At that point, it's a choice. You have a choice. Christianity or the Judeo-Christian values that we've had in this country since its inception, to one degree or another, it ebbs and flows, or secularism, the religion of secularism, which you are experiencing right now. The religion that says abortion up until and including birth, no exceptions, period. The religion that says children can be taken away from their parents if the parents don't want to put them on puberty blockers. The same children who cannot consent to sex can consent to mind-altering hormones that will affect their sex life for the rest of their lives. The same religion, by the way, that says all cultures are equal, however, we also have to allow people from all these other cultures to come in here on your dime right now, the taxpayer, because and respect their culture. This same religion that says, by the way, you shouldn't be able to afford energy or food, milk, basic necessities because it's bad for the environment. The environment is more important than people. You have a choice between whether you're a Christian or not. You see it in Europe. Dawkins, who's not a Christian, says, I would prefer the Christendom that we had over the Islam that we are seeing. Here in the United States, you have the choice between Judeo-Christian principles, Christendom, let's call it that, or the religion of modern secularism. We cannot say, hey, once we destroy this idea of the flying spaghetti monster, then everyone's going to be free to be enlightened, and we will have no more conflict. That's never happened. It's never going to happen. So let's start with reality. You have Christendom. You have the religion of secularism, or potentially Islam. Let's throw Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, whatever you want into the mix. If you're going to replace, here in the United States, Christian, which is all over our founding documents, and auxiliary documents, third party, all of their private writings, nonstop. If you're going to replace that here in the United States, what will you replace it with? It's very clear what the DNC wants to do. What the modern progressive left, which is the entire DNC platform, it's very clear what they want to do. Comment below if you are going to replace it. You cannot tear something down and replace it with nothing. What is the alternative replacement that is better? I don't see it. And of course, if you have to destroy the Christendom of Western civilization, that means you have to destroy, ultimately, its proponents. That's you. That means that you and your family unit has to be destroyed, which they've also been doing incredibly proactively. They're not hiding it anymore. 60 days versus people who died for this country, 2. I think that's pretty startling.
Watch Louder with Crowder live Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern.